To all the first home buyers out there, if you're planning to buy a house, you probably know the first step in doing so is to get a mortgage. And before the mortgage, pre-approval. It is essentially required for your bank or lender to analyze all your assets, income, and financial documents so that they can determine whether you are eligible for a loan or not. And it's a helpful indication to you as to whether you are indeed prepared so that you can ensure you'll be officially approved later on. As I said, your lender would want to know everything about your income, everything you own, and everything about your financial life. Well, how exactly can you prove to them that you are capable and responsible to take out a mortgage? In this video, I'm going to be addressing just that and provide you with a list of documentation that you need to gather in order to get a mortgage pre-approval in Japan. Typically, there are 4 parts to this. Your identification, proof of your income, your tax payment or tax returns, as well as other supplementary documentation that your bank might require from you. And just before I dive into that though, I want you to note that the list I'm about to give you is only general idea, and I will try to cover different circumstances, but remember that everyone's situation is unique and you have to consult with your own lender for specific documentations that they might require from you. Also, you might notice that a number of banks have been shifting to the paperless pre-approval process recently. Don't mistake these to be easier. It is still highly recommended that you prepare all your documentations diligently at this stage, even if your bank provide online service. So let's begin. The first thing you should have is some sort of identification. This can either be your driver license or Maidaba card. On top of that, you also need a copy of your social insurance card, Shakai Hokensho, or your national health insurance card, Kokumin Hokensho. Additionally, if you're not Japanese citizen, your Zairyu card or residence card will be asked of you as an extra item. After providing information on your basic identity, the next thing on this list is proof that you are making money and how much your income is. This is where things can get a little confusing because the type of documentation that is required from you actually depends on what kind of worker you are. Let's start with something simple. If you're employed, doesn't matter if you're full-time, part-time, or contract worker, then you have to have your employment certificate. This is called Zaishoku Shomeisho, and you can get this from your workplace. Now, if you've worked for more than 1 year in your current position, then the form you should look for is your most recent Gensencho Shuhyo, which is your annual payslip. And naturally, this can also be found in your workplace. However, if you only work for less than a year, then what you need is something else. Your lender would want to see all your monthly payslips you've ever received, which is called Kyuyo Meisaisho in Japanese. Again, you'll be able to gather these from your employer or workplace. If you are self-employed, your lender will probably want to see more of your paychecks because your income might be inconsistent and they need better idea of how much you are really earning. In that case, you will need your Kakutei Shinkokusho or an annual profit and loss statement. For the past 3 years, generally you can find this at the tax office. That was quite a lot to digest. Make sure to double check documents that are applicable to your employment status before you submit them. If you're uncertain about what you should provide, then ask your lender because they will always know best about your unique situation and what they require from you in order to grant you a loan. Once you get your income sorted, And it is also important to provide information on your expenses and how tax liable you are. This is way less complicated no matter who you are. As long as you are making money and want to buy a house in Japan, you need the following 2 documents that summarize all your tax information. Your income certificate or shotoku shomeisho for the past 3 years, and proof of your most recent annual tax return, which is also called Nozei Kazei Shomeisho. Both of these can be obtained from your city office. At this point, it does sound like there's a lot of paperwork to deal with, but don't worry, because we are nearing the end of our list. The final few documents that are specific to buying a house in Japan. While you're at the city office for your tax return documents, you can also pick up a seal registration certificate, that is the Inkan Toroku Shomeisho, as well as your Jumisho, which is your residence certificate. And that is it for the list of documents you have to prepare before you apply for mortgage pre-approval. A quick recap on the different components that you need: your identification, proof of your income, tax return forms, and any other additional documentation that is specific to you. Remember, everyone's case is unique, so it is always good to confirm with your lender whether some things that apply to you but not to others, and vice versa. Again, the purpose of all this paperwork is so that your bank or lender will have more information about you and be able to assess your eligibility for an offshore mortgage approval. It also can also be really helpful you to figure out an approximate range of prices you can afford for your house. So be sure not to skip this step when you're planning to purchase a house in Japan. This is all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you later, and also make sure to subscribe this channel.